Some women have a very fast or forceful letdown. And this sometimes is not a problem, but it sometimes can be difficult for a baby to handle that if the milk is coming out a lot faster than they want it to, or than they literally physically can handle, because babies need to be able to suck, swallow, and breathe and coordinate all of that. Imagine if you're being, essentially waterboarded. It's uncomfortable. Some babies will just kind of sputter and gasp a little bit and then kind of get into their rhythm. Sometimes to control the flow, babies will latch on purpose very shallow, which can be painful for moms. Then sometimes babies just fuss and fuss and fuss and just really won't latch because they know what's coming and they don't want to have to handle that. Sometimes babies have something wrong, which is making it difficult for them to control that. And sometimes it's simply because it's just too fast and any baby would have trouble with it. So if all other things seem to be okay with how your baby's eating, but you do feel like you've got that forceful flow, then trying out a few things to control that or temper it a little bit can help you figure out if you can kind of work your way past that for your baby to be more comfortable. One option is laying back more, reclining when you're feeding your baby. Now this is going to have minimal advantage, but just from gravity, it's not going to be flowing downwards towards your baby as much and might slow things a bit. One option is, as soon as that letdown happens, take your baby off, or before the letdown even happens, if you sense it's about to come, take your baby off and then just if your letdown's forceful enough, you may not have to do any sort of expressing, but just let those sprays happen into a burp cloth or into a bottle or cup to collect it, and then put your baby back on after that forceful letdown has slowed a little bit. Another option is to not even try to latch your baby, hand express until you get to that forceful letdown, and then do the same. Let that forceful letdown run its course, and then put your baby back on. If your baby does get more shallow, like still is okay and is on your breast, not crying and fussing, but does get more shallow during that more forceful fast flow, if they don't correct it themselves, once things slow down, I would recommend taking them off and relatching them deeper so that you have a more comfortable rest of your feeding. Your baby can be more efficient and you don't cause any trauma to the nipple by having your baby be very shallow. Those are the main things that I recommend. Another thing is that babies often can handle things that they maybe don't love about, that aren't perfect about the breastfeeding match between the mom and the baby. Sometimes babies are more willing to put up with those things when they're sleepier. They just don't quite have the energy or gusto to fight it. And so they may do better with their feedings in the middle of the night when they're sleepier. Now, obviously, they need to eat through the day, so we need to figure out something for the rest of the day. Thankfully, a lot of the time, women with faster flows or letdowns, that will slow down gradually over time. So this may not be something that's going to last a full year, but may settle down over time once your production is a little bit better regulated. But sometimes it doesn't, or sometimes it's not just the letdown, it's the flow through the entire feeding. So again, kind of mitigating these things as much as possible. And if you think that there really might be something wrong with your baby's abilities, and that's the problem more than the flow, then it's important to have your baby evaluated. Tips to know that that's probably what's going on, that your baby's having trouble handling your flow, either because it's fast or because your baby's just struggling. That gasping, choking kind of sound as they're eating, losing suction a lot, like popping on, popping off, that can be one of the clues. Those are the big things. But if in doubt, certainly can never hurt to have your baby evaluated and have breastfeeding professional observe your baby eating at the breast as well as at the bottle, because if they're having trouble at the bottle as well, that's more of an indicator that there may be something that your baby needs to work on a little bit. And a lot of these things just in general can improve over time as a baby gets stronger, as the flow regulates. All sorts of problems tend to just ease up over time. So if it's not causing major problems, your baby's getting fed, you're not in pain or having damage to your nipples, and sometimes it's something you can just kind of give a little bit of time and it will get better if you're patient with it. But it can lead to struggles and unpleasant situations for babies and moms. So hopefully this gives you a few little ideas as to what might be going on and tips you can try and reasons for getting an evaluation. Have a great day.